Starting Hangouts, it's live. Alrighty, we're just getting ready for Pepe. Meet Marty and Pepe.
Why are some of the biggest companies in the world starting to use design sprints to launch, validate, and create new products? Well, the reason is because
Why am I watching an ad?
Why are some of the biggest companies in the world starting to use design sprints to launch, validate, and create new products? Well, the reason is because
Why am I watching an ad? All right, guys.
Why are some of the biggest companies in the world starting to use design sprints?
If you want to watch page. Y'all bear with me. We're just getting started. If you want to watch page. We're not ready yet. Quite yet, folks. Y'all bear with me. We're just getting started. You're looking for Pepe and Marty. Here, live control room. You want to watch page. Watch page. Watch. All right, hey everybody, it's coming in. We're just kind of getting set up. I just invited Pepe and Marty, so it might be, what is it, 7:30? Still half an hour, so y'all are welcome to hang around and get to know each other. I'm going to be back and forth trying to get this all set up, and hopefully we'll get done before we got some storms coming in this way. If any of you live in the United States, you saw that bunch of storms that's going by. We're down at the south end of it in North Florida. And it's supposed to be here, and I'm in a garage with a tin roof, so hopefully it doesn't make a whole lot of noise. There we go. All right, and then we'll just hang out and we'll wait for Pepe and Marty to show up. And I'll text them off. And y'all give a thumbs up or say I can hear you, or if the audio is okay. Message both of them. Marty and Pepe. I can hear you. All is good in the hood. Awesome. Cool. Appreciate it. So how's everybody been doing? Marty's Garden 560. We'll send you a link. And just in case Marty and Pepe are watching, I sent you guys an email. Sounds good in Georgia. Hello, Georgia. I lived in Georgia, Albany, Georgia for many, many years. Up in Atlanta too for a little while, Stone Mountain. Crystal clear. Awesome. Getting hot in Tampa. Yes, it is. We're up here at Jacksonville. Let's see. Hydroponic growing plus. Hydroponic gardening plus. How are you doing? I'm gonna make you a mod in case you want to drop a link to your channel, or and you can help out. I know you're helping my wife on the last two streams that we had. And I think if George pops in here too, I'll make him a mod so he can drop a couple links. When are you going to show us what you got from hydroponic thing box that came in? Probably either the next video or one after that in a week or two. I'm getting it set up now. We decided to build. My last video, I showed a little kind of sneak peek. We decided to build a little shade house because, like some people said in Florida, it's starting to get like really hot. And we decided that putting stuff against the overhang and trying to just situate everything in the where it was getting morning sun and a little shade was getting a little tough. So we decided to make a little shade house so we could put a lot more out there. So we decided to build that first, and then we're going to open that up and put it out. Basically, it's an NFT channel. Just like it looks like a gutter, basically, with the open top. And it's got a top that clips on it that has the holes already in there that are little square cubes where the cube of rock wool can fit in it. So it kind of comes, if anybody's not handy or doesn't want to work with heat gun and tools and power tools, and they just want to get it ready, you know, that's an option. Let's see. It's a little bit of lag here. I'm trying to figure out how to set this up so I can watch both at the same time. George, how are you? I'm going to make you a mod, George, if you don't mind. Then you can help Keely out. I know you were over there helping, trying to drop links last week and you couldn't. So I've got a little spare time right now to fix things. Let me see if I can hear back from, I would feel honored to help. Cool. Appreciate it. You're a mod. Yeah, it's a little muggy out here right now in Florida. It's hot. And then some storms came by. They passed on through, so hopefully it'll stay a little quiet through our interviews. But we've got the tail end of those storms coming through, and it's going to get really warm and feel like a sauna. Let's see if I can get this a little smaller. Move you over here. And that might work. Cool. Appreciate y'all being a little patient. Like I said, I'm not a big tech guy. I don't really know what's going on with these things, but we're going to work with it. All right. Let me check on Pepe. Typing. Cool. In Gmail, yes. Ready, invite. Copy. Still waiting. What are you using for lights? Right now, my wife's got a big LED light. We got at Lowe's. Got a small, just fluorescent light behind me. ACB, how are you doing? Okay, you're already a mod. Hold on, let me see what Pepe and them are saying. Let me get them something here. Have you got a link in Gmail, Marty? All right, let me send one to myself. If not, compose. All right, I'm looking at different screens. I'm looking at my email and that. You guys, like I said, you guys talk amongst yourselves, get to know each other. And I'm trying to get Pepe and them in here. Alrighty, send myself a letter. In your letter. Copy. Use my account. Google Hangouts, sign an email. How we doing, guys? You're getting close. Oh, we still have 15 minutes. Alrighty. Check your account. Keep on growing until recovery phone number. I got all that done. This is just in case. Daisy. Let's see, Daisy Benefit. How you doing? Oh yeah, I found y'all. Oh, Keely made it in. And Marty and Pepe is still trying to get in. If they can't, there's another streaming software that I found that's pretty easy to use. If it doesn't work in about 10 minutes here, we're going to jump off. And y'all just we'll have to keep an eye out for the new link to come up, the new notification. And if not, Keely can come back in here, one of y'all, and drop a link to the new one. So we'll see how it goes. They're trying right now. We'll give them a few minutes. Of course, my phone went off. Providing, you know, to go, blah, blah, blah. Yes. Signed in. With Hangouts. Allow Hangouts, record pictures, allow. Oh, there's Peps.
Whoop.
Allow Hangouts. All right, I'm going to stop this. I know. So you got in. May have to help Marty. Can you hear us, Pepe?
I can hear you. I just lost visual. Hang on.
Okay, no rush. We're still early. That's what we came on here early for.
Okay. Oh, there I am.
There you are.
It's on the phone. It's on the phone. All right.
Oh, no problem at all.
Nice.
Let's see. All right, so this was me. I was just trying to get Hangouts on my phone too, just to see if it'd work.
Oh, this is cool. It's actually better. I can move around. It's good.
Awesome. Oh, see what Marty's saying here. Well, Pepe, you feel free to talk to some people in the chat already here. I don't know if you probably can't see the chat, but CB is in the chat already, and George McClure. They've been hanging out in a Hydroponic Gardening Plus.
Hey guys, how are you? It's yeah. I can't see the chats because it's in Google Hangouts, but if any questions can get relayed. I'm good. How's everyone? It's early morning here in Australia, and it's about 9 p.m.
Email Marty's Garden. Okay, yeah, I'm going to send this link to Marty one more time. Let's see. Copy text.
Marty might have to do it on his phone, Mike.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, while Mike's doing that, the room behind me. This is my office now. My man cave. Oh, I wish I could see the chat, but we'll get there. I spoke to Marty earlier this morning, and we're going to be the Vegemite boys today.
Yeah, we'll get Marty. If we can't get Marty on here, there's that other software I was talking about, StreamYard. It's pretty easy. Y'all don't even have to install it or anything. All you have to do is I send a link and you just accept, allow it to use your phone, your microphone and your video.
Yep.
And it's pretty easy. And what I can do is highlight comments or questions, and they'll put it up on the screen for us. But this Google Hangouts doesn't really have too much you can do with it.
No, I'm noticing.
Just 1 second.
I refreshed emails 1,000 times here, but nothing's come through.
Really?
Mm.
Let's see. Alrighty, I just sent it to Gmail. I'll forward that to you too, Pepe, and see if it pops up over there. I sent it to Marty. Forward. Try this. It'd be really cool to get Marty on here too with us.
Oh, for sure. I know I've already spoke to him this morning. We're both like, oh, have we got the right software?
Yeah, we'll figure all this out. And like I said, there's, we're all garden buddies and all that. So, this won't be like the first and last one. I hope you guys, this would be cool if we can all get together, whether it's on either one of our channel and, just yak about garden stuff and help each other out.
Oh, 100%, man. Like I was talking to my wife this morning about that. Like it's so easy and great live. Like, because I don't get much time to put videos up all the time at the moment. It'd be cool every Monday for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's and this is pretty neat too, because I met you about a year ago, and Marty, I've been watching him for years. And if it wasn't for the internet, he doesn't have a show on TV, and you're not, I would never have even met y'all, much less be on a live, chat with both you guys. You're on the other side of the world. It's pretty cool that we can all connect and talk like this. It's just wild times that we're living in.
It's totally wild. There's no latency or nothing. It's just like I'm in the room with you right now. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Marty, I sent him a Gmail. I forwarded it to you too, and see if it went through that way.
Yep, I got it.
Okay, so maybe he's getting it. I don't know if he's getting problems down on his end. But when we're waiting for Marty, we still got about 10 minutes. People are still slowly coming in here.
I'm going to click on that link anyway. Probably.
All right.
See what happens.
George. Yeah, y'all might hear some traffic and that. I'm in the garage out by the road.
It's all good.
It's a good spread too. What are y'all talking about? Vegemite? Oh, okay. You had it. Oh, okay, cool. Vegemite, yeah.
It's a love-hate relationship with many of this stuff.
Yeah. I think all we could get over here is Marmite. Is that kind of the same?
Yeah, it is. And there's Promite and something else, but yeah, it's all basically the same thing. It's just, it's just the way the Aussies went. Vegemite. It's not even made with vegetables. I think it's all bone broth and things like that. Hey, Marty's here, I think.
There he is.
Hey, I'm just. I tried to plug in another camera, but it's using my default one from the computer. But you can see me all right?
I can see you.
As long as that's clear enough. I've got a better webcam, but seeing we're a bit rushed. We're just, as long as you can see me. I'm worried about my dirty kitchen and everything behind me. Can you clean up a bit behind me, please?
That's your fault, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, we were telling Pepe, don't worry, this is like real informal, and we're just a little get together and not try to learn everything all at once too, because I'd like for us to do this often, us and the other guys who are in the chat are our other garden friends, and do it on your channel, Marty or Pepe, and just make this a little community, and people can follow us around to the different different channels and learn a lot from everyone else.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, mate. It's a great idea. I just thought, well, try and get it looking as best as possible in this short period.
No problem. That's
cool. On my bed behind me. We're all pretty sweet because I've got, as you know, I've got my little studio, so I'd like to film from the back of that. What software are you using?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm just on my laptop and with the YouTube.
Yeah.
they have the where you can just stream, but they have where you can click on and go to the classic streaming, and from there you can just set up a Google Hangout like this. It's a little difficult. They used to, it was easy before, and it used to be, you know, where you could just click on it and stream. And I might try to get it hooked up with Streamlabs, and then you can put all the overlays and get everything all set up with it. But right now, my internet strength is not that good.
Yeah.
And in about 4 or 5 months, they're going to put fiber optics in here.
Right.
And it's going to get a lot better. So I just figured we just make do right now.
Yeah, no, that's good. Ecamm Live, have a look at that. That's only $85 or something, and it does Skype calls and everything, and it's
Ecamm.
Ecamm.
Is that do I need an Apple? Is that iOS?
I think it's both, but I'll look into it further and let you know.
Okay, cool. Right. What
I think
time?
it's Apple. Yeah, it's Apple.
I'm too poor to get Apple.
Hey, Pepe.
Are you on your phone? Did you get you?
My phone. I don't know what my Apple ID is, so I couldn't use my phone. But the microphone and that's not good on it because it's got too thick a case, so you wouldn't hear me.
Yeah, sure. I can only make it work through the phone. No, it's all good.
Yeah, as long as I can hear you, so that's good.
Excellent. But I just can't see the comment.
And then everybody in the chat, can everybody hear both Pepe and Marty?
Are we already live?
And if everybody, are you all familiar with them, or is this the first time? I know a lot of you like CB and the guys I just made mods in that, you know, that you all know them, but other people in the chat, do you know Marty and Pepe? Just kind of like put one or a two if you know one or both of them, and we'll kind of know what's going on.
One second.
We're the Aussies, down under boys.
They're both the Aussies. Y'all, you surf too, don't you, Pepe?
I used to, and then I had my back surgery, so I'm sort of really watching a lot of surf videos lately, getting pumped to get back out there. But,
okay, yeah. That's why I thought both of y'all had said that you had both surfed in that too.
Yeah.
I got some surfing coming up in the next video actually, because you mentioned it, Mike. You said, when am I going to see you surfing? And I said, probably, I don't know, it's too hard, but we filmed some on the weekend.
Oh, cool. You did all right?
Yeah, I surfed in a local little contest, but we only filmed just a split second and put it in another video.
Okay,
anyway,
cool.
Don't need to get into that. I'm just psyching up on a Coke.
Yeah.
Are we live or not? I don't know what's going on here.
We're live. Like I said, I just came on. We still got about 5 or 10 minutes when we're supposed to go live, but I just hooked it up because I thought we might have a little difficulties, you know, our first time trying to get it all working. So there's some people in the chat already that, like I said, I think most of them, both. They're saying they both know who you are.
Cool. G'day, everyone. They can't see us yet, though, can they?
Yeah.
Thank goodness for that.
Alrighty. If either of you want to talk or say anything, I think Marty's still getting set up.
Yeah, well, I just wish I could see the comments. If there's anything going on there, Mike, just let me know, and it might sort of get me going.
Okay.
But yeah, I can sort of walk you around my room, I guess, because I'm mobile.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's looking great, Pepe, like that. Being mobile, like that, you can show everyone inside.
It's this is obviously the inside room, but I do a lot outside and kind of move all of this after a few days before it's getting harvested outside to the shade houses. It's just like
just be aware that when you're walking, it's shaking quite a lot. So just take slower steps, and you'll get that's smoother. Yeah.
No worries, boss. It's all good. So kind of germinating here up on top there above the lights. I get the warmth off the lights because we're going into the shoulder seasons here. It's getting a bit cool.
Yeah, so lights lower.
Speeds up. And it's I just wish I had more room. Hey, like things are getting busy. And yesterday I built 3 more shade houses and sort of got to, meet demand. But things are going well. I mean, I apologize I haven't put up, content lately because I've got to put priorities in place. I've got to get and then as I put a video up, I'm going to have lots to show you, and I've got stuff in edit. But I think he's
apologize for that, man. You got to make money. That's
exactly.
You're not there to be a YouTube star. It's YouTube doesn't pay the bills, mate. It may do in the future, but it's not for me at the moment. That's for sure.
Right. That's the cool thing is that you can do, your main thing that you're do for a living, but then you can still put out a couple videos and keep this kind of stuff going where it builds for the future, even though, it's not something that's going to be like an immediate ROI, but we're not like the time where all we do is get up and think about making videos and that's it. But it's something that if you keep putting it up and keep, like you said, Marty, it just builds up, and then you've got something coming in that you're not working at. And I know it takes a long time, but even if you don't, the other things that, like all the connections that you make, and there's tons of other benefits to doing it too.
Exactly. I just want the videos and what I'm doing to be actually really happening, and it's real time. Whatever I put up is actually what's happening at the time, and this is really expanding, and I want it to be an inspiration to anyone that's out there trying to do it. It can be done, and from a bootstrap, next to nothing.
Can be, definitely. Yeah, the old microgreens thing and the leafy greens and that, if you push into it and you've got a good product, it just explodes, especially up your way. Geez, everyone wants it, Down here, I get heaps of people wanting. Like I got someone coming in half an hour or 45 minutes for compost.
Excellent.
They pick up 5, 10 bags, 3 bags at a time. I got to turn people away sometimes. I'm too busy. Can you come later? It's just, and the garden's out of control. We must be pretty close to kick off, are we, Mike?
How
long we got to go? If it for some reason my door knocks and I've got to bail, I'll have to go. But
that's all right.
Still got half an hour, I think, up my sleeve until they turn up.
Okay, no, that's cool. Like I said, you got to do what you got to do. We're just happy you can spend a couple minutes in here yakking. So we might let you talk a little bit. I mean, Pepe, I don't know how much time you got either. I know it's morning over there and y'all got to hustle.
Oh, it's cool.
Just fire away the questions, Mike. We'll leave you in control.
Yeah, basically people are in here just saying they're all happy to see both of you. They're asking for links to your channels, but yeah, Marty, if you talk a little, it's basically, now I've known Marty on the internet. This is the first time we've actually spoke in person, but I've known Marty for maybe 7 years, I think, from when I first started, and I first got interested in microgreens. And it's pretty cool that to see somebody sticking around that long and still putting out videos and still trying to teach people how to do things. But you changed a lot in the past maybe year or something, and then you're getting into like making your own compost and the vermicomposting and that's all pretty interesting. And like I do a lot of hydroponics, but my wife still has a traditional garden, and she enjoys all of that too. But if you want to tell them about a little bit about what you're doing, your kind of pivot that you're doing there, because you're in a small space, right? Kind of compared to your last one.
Very much. It's all sort of started off with very small spaces on a veranda, balcony, just growing and just doing little handheld videos, really bad audio, really bad visuals, bad storylines, but okay, it's sort of okay education. I still get abused every now and again for the bad videos, but that's all right. You just work on them and get better as you go. Some people started following me because I started saying, hey, I noticed a lot of trends going on with microgreens in the States, and it hadn't been introduced to the internet really. And I really love the idea of being able to grow the small like nutritional product food in huge volumes quickly. So I just started. That's Cara and my daughter. The show quite recently. So I started growing microgreens, and then all of a sudden I was like, wow, people are going to buy this stuff if I can grow it really well. So I just worked on ways of so this is how the vermiponics evolved. I worked on an organic side to get my own soils right, because I found that when I had very good quality soil, the compost, and then when I ran the worms through it, I got an explosion of growth. And especially when I put the liquid down below from the worm farms, what people call leachate. I like to call it just more like a compost tea, really, because it sort of blends through. It doesn't grab all the wee out of it's really more just blending through the actual bin and just taking what's ever in the bin and then dropping it down below, and then it's getting explosion growth. And then all of a sudden I was selling it, and I think Pepe watched the story, you watched some of it, and then I got sick, really ill with dystonia, and so I couldn't. My neck was really in a bad way. I couldn't control my muscles and spasms and everything. So I just had a break, and then moved down the mid-north coast, and just started growing food again, and then started making my own compost, because all the compost is really bad. And now I do compost and vermicomposting, because it's just followed that's the passion that I've led. So I've always just shared on my channel where my story of my life goes, I guess. And that's, more so than just chasing subscribers the whole time. I've got a lot of subscribers, but not, I only have a few percent watch my videos on that, because it was so broad. But, you just follow what your life, and you do the same thing, Mike, and Pepe, you do the same thing. We do what we love doing, and that shines through, I reckon. Hopefully we can teach people and help people to move forward in that direction as well.
Definitely. What I find real interesting is, like, when you're making your own compost, is everybody who gets into like urban gardens, urban farming, and they think about making a living at it, the first thing they think about is what produce they can make to sell. And they might make their own compost, or they go and buy it somewhere. But I haven't seen a whole lot of people out there actually making up like their own formula for it, and building their own compost, and actually making a business out of selling it. That's something unique. If you can get that out there, I think that's a kind of niche thing that I don't see a whole lot of people doing.
Yeah, it's tricky, and you got to get it right. But once you do get it right, after a few months, it can take 6 months to a year to get it sort of right. And it's always, for me, it's always something continually evolving. But your compost, and Pepe will probably tell you more about this as well. For the way that we grow food, it's very similar to the way we grow food. It's got to be about the nutrient in there, and it's the same with hydroponics. You can't use a cheap hydroponic; you're going to get bad growth. So we're using a good quality medium that's healthy, and especially with like small farmers and micro farmers and things like that, if you've got a good solid compost base that's very alive with microorganisms, things, you're going to get better results and less problems. So, I always recommend people start at the base there, get that right before you start growing stuff, or improve it as you're growing, because then everything just gets better and better over time. It's a bit like making wine. Just get better and better at it.
Experiment, totally.
Yeah.
Let's see. Somebody asked Marty. Sorry, Pepe. I'll let you talk here in a second.
That's okay.
Somebody asked, what kind of worms are you using right now in your vermicomposting?
They're mostly tigers. We've got a few blues and some reds, but they're pretty much predominantly tigers, subtropical. They like that environment. I'm picking up some Africans from Permi Pete this week, hopefully, and they're a bigger worm for the tropics, but still very new to me. So pretty much tigers. They're a tough, resilient worm. Yeah. And they're outdoors, indoors, in tumblers. You can use them everywhere. They just, and they explode. If you take good care of them, they'll double their population every 3 months.
Cool. Pepe, you got anything to add about like compost, what he was talking about?
Yeah, I agree. Obviously I grow in soil. I've toyed with hydroponics. I recently did a little unit thing that was pretty cool, but I do your crack key system like for a lot of herbs and watercress. But with the composting, I've hooked up with this Swedish company, certified organic, called Penergetics, spelled Penergetics, and it's not broadly known yet, but it's sort of a booster for your compost. So I'm basically breaking down my leftover from my trays in 21 days back to a super compost, as far as I can say it is. But it's just by adding microbes that are, in a powdered form, I guess, and really feeding them up. And yeah, it's been going really well. And I'm seeing the benefits in my shelf life, in the color of the product, and just general yields. Like, it's been amazing. So I agree with what Marty's doing 100%.
Cool. And somebody asked Pepe what you grow your microgreens in. I guess you're just talking about your composting that.
Yeah, I use my own blend from a supplier in another town, which I get delivered now. It's 60% composted bark, so it's been broken down for a long time, but I don't get anything bigger than 0.5 centimeter. So it's got to be fine, and there's probably 5% of that mix is, 5 mil bark. And then I get it's got to be composted cocoa coir. It's got to have the salt content sort of taken out of it. And then it gets mixed with 5% perlite. And then it gets pH balanced to 6.5. And it comes to me just like that. And then I take 50% of that away and add this new product. And I break that down for another 21 days. Plus, I'm composting my tray waste. I'm mixing it all back together. So it's this constant loop. Although, I like to use a bit of the compost out in the market garden for the greens. I'm just seeing results, and it's saving me money, and it's better than anything I could buy. It's just been amazing.
Well, that's pretty cool too, that you're taking some of your waste, after you cut your microgreens, and that you turn that back into compost and kind of repurposing that, instead of, I know a lot of people were, taking that and making a big compost pile, and they might till it into their garden or just let it, decompose. But for you to keep turning it back over and in 3 weeks is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it's been really cool. I got inspired by a video Curtis put up from a Canadian business called Kind Organics. They're doing a similar thing, except, I'm not sure yet if it's like, I'm creating possible molds and fungus by doing this, but I don't think so, because I'm doing it outdoor. I'm constantly turning it. Marty, what do you think about that? Like, is there any, like?
It's actually, no, as long as you've got the pH is good and there's not like funky smells and that, you're pretty much fine. Well, you'll find that because you're adding the good biology into there, and that actually will keep everything in control. It's all about the oxygen and the breakdown. So, if you don't have, as long as it's not going over acidic and getting funky, then it's pretty well fine. No problem.
Cool. No, that's good, because I do test it with my own tester, but just
you can smell it. You can smell it as soon as it goes a bit bad. It's got that sour smell, and then you just got to hit it with dolomite. I find that happens sometimes if I put the coffee on too thick in the piles and the oxygen can't get to it, and it's just the coffee going a bit funky underneath. But you'll find you get, after a while, when it starts maturing and different things happening, you get little mushrooms and things pop up and that, but that's exciting, because it means that you're getting that, it's actually working and becoming more alive, and the more it becomes alive. So I recommend that you get some of that you've got, that you're turning over every 21 days, and make a little mother pile. It's what they do in biodynamics, and I do this myself. And then you just grab some of that, a shovel full of it every now and again, and you put it into another pile and let that biology move through it. If the moisture and the temperature is right, it'll just keep on breeding through it.
Okay. No, then, the mushroom. Sorry. When I see the mushrooms, when I saw the mushrooms, I was a bit like, oh no, am I getting too? But anyway, that's cool.
Good sign.
Excellent.
Great sign.
Yeah, actually, part of the decomposition and everything, the mushroom's like the fruit, but the muesli, whatever they call it, getting all through it is what's actually breaking down all of the soil and everything. So
Yeah,
it's, I mean, that's actually good. That's a little different. The fungus is a little different than like a mold issue or something, right?
Very much.
Okay. Somebody asked, Pepe, is that hot composting for the 3-week cycle?
Yeah, it is. It's I do it in a pile like I put a tarp down because I'm just going to lose it to the earth if I don't. But I just put a tarp over the top of cardboard and whatnot, and yeah, it's hot, and especially the summer we had. My kids, my kids thought they'd help me, and they cleaned out the chicken coop, and I had to throw this pile away. But they put all the hay on top, and it caught fire. Yeah, that wasn't cool.
Put one of the chickens.
Yeah, it wasn't. So that was all right. I didn't want that in there anyway, just for any E. coli type issues that may pop up. But I had to try it again. But yeah, definitely a hot composting situation. Yeah, follow all those guidelines.
Cool. That's pretty cool. I like getting together like this because it's, as YouTubers, and we try to make videos that are going to appeal to people and that get the velocity and you try to grow. So we take little experiences that we have out in the gardens and we try to say, well, what do we want to do this week? And we show one little microcosm of what we're doing. But when we get together like this, we can talk about, you know, a broad array of, you know, different things that are going on. It's, you know, it's pretty cool that you can be a little more open and find out a lot more stuff instead of just watching one 10-minute video on, you know, one certain thing and then waiting another week. And like I said, I'm gonna like this, and like I said, if you guys want to hook up, you know, I'd be glad to, you know, come on over and, you know, we can get little communities going on each one of our channels.
Love to.
Yeah, it's a good start for sure. I'd probably like to say, you know, like for some people, I think what's really fun, and I do it myself, is sometimes I'll grow something in a bit of hydroponics beside a bit of, but I use a very good quality hydroponic. If I grow some Kangkong, then I'll grow it in a bit of compost and, you know, like fun like that sort of thing. So,
well, if you can do that, Marty, that's everyone's always asking, because everybody always views like the hydroponic fertilizers as chemicals. Yeah. And, you know, some people, you know, we know that, you know, NPK and stuff, you know, the plants, you know, nitrogen is nitrogen, but some people, you know, it just rubs them the wrong way. And they're always asking about organic fertilizers. And a lot of the stuff that works in a traditional hydroponic that moves with pumps and that, this stagnant kind of system, like the cracky thing, it goes anaerobic really fast. But if you can figure something like that out, you know, that'd be cool. I know that Brad, I think with Hidden Harvest Grow Lights. Yeah. He's using a compost too, but he's also got a bubbler in there, that Riverponics thing he's got set up. Yeah. Look, to be honest, figure out like an organic kind of fertilizer, you know, everybody would, you know, be interested in that.
I'll be straight open honest with you. There's guys here in Australia and they're like, oh, I can't remember what you call the people that develop these like, liquid fertilizers and things, and I buy one from these like chemists, and they're actually not hot, they're biologists, and they actually grab a material that's organic and they create an organic fertilizer, and then they turn it into inorganic fertilizer, because the reason is for hydroponics is the plants need to uptake the nutrient through their root system, and they'll take the inorganic substance before they'll take the organic substance. But they put all the things like the humics and all that in there, back in there at the end, so you get a closer to an organic product. But look, everyone's run these trials and they're not putting them up on YouTube. You've got to find out from like behind the scene places of people that know someone else, and, you know, and they got doctorates and all this, and they're all saying, sorry guys, but it doesn't work. The organic ones don't work as good in these systems as the inorganic ones. So I've just accepted that and gone, okay. So right, I get Kangkong, I grow it in water, and sometimes I put in, I'll grab it now. Just hang on, so I want to show everyone. I'd like to show what I'm preaching here. This is Kangkong growing in just water, and these are just worm castings. There's no liquid from the farm or anything like that. And I'll do one beside that with just like King Kong and just for my own experiments with the hydroponics, and it's pretty much, I get pretty much faster growth in the hydroponic one in the water. But this is still, as you can see, it's still quite healthy, right? And
Yeah,
winter,
cool.
it's going to winter, it doesn't like the cold. But yeah, so that's my take on it. I'm just going off what the experts are telling me, and they're saying, yeah, don't waste your time unless you really understand what you're doing, you know. So
Yeah.
it's not, as long as you're growing fresh food, anyway, it's pretty good. I'm just more into sort of like the compost and the organic side of things. I find overall it works better for me, but you know, like that cracky stuff that you're doing is absolutely unreal, like, because it serves a whole new element of people, you know, and I reckon it's great. I just love it. I just wish I had time to do a bit more. I'll put this back.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like we said, you know, I say it all the time, you know, it's not the best way to do things. You know, I'm not on here, you know, putting down like traditional hydroponics or traditional garden, but for like people like me that are on the road all the time, or I've gotten a lot of letters from people who say that they're getting a little older and they can't bend down to garden, or they're living in an apartment and just have a little balcony. So there's a lot of people that couldn't grow their own food before, you know, that are at least getting a little bit of a chance now.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, and it's pretty good quality too. Like, look what you're doing, you know.
Oh yeah, and that King Kong. I mean, that was just an awesome plant. I wish we could grow it here. That's just, you know, that could solve a lot of problems, because it was, you know, we're dealing with the heat, and that thing was just like a monster. You know, during the summer, it was, you'd cut it all the way back and it just grow back, and you'd have, you know, food to eat. But you know, maybe they'll change, you know, some rules in that later on. But that was just an awesome plant. So I'm trying some. I'm going to look for a couple of those alternatives that you told me and try that, like the betel, I think BETAL or something.
Yeah, and then you've got the Vietnamese mint, which is a really good one. That grows from cutting as well, like King Kong. It's a smaller plant, but it's very flavorful. Then you got a few different basils and stuff. You know, like the basils grow great in those crackies, as far as I know, in those systems. And I'm pretty sure that mint would as well. But I'll leave that for you later on to introduce that to your people. I really want to see what Pepe's got behind there on his shelving. It's intriguing to see what he's doing.
You can't quite see because of the light. It's like this curtain. I don't know if you can see that, but it's reflecting on me here.
But you got new trays, so anyway. Sorry, I butt in, Mike. I need to hold back my piece and kiss you. Cheers, mate.
Let's see. Somebody asked, Daisy asked, do you, let's see, have any tips on how to, it says, read light boxes to find usable lights from local stores? Like, what's the best lights if you just go like to a local store without ordering, I guess, you know, going to hydroponic shop and getting, you know,
P5
grow lights.
P5, I think. Pepe, you know more about than me.
I'm using T8s, but I'm also using LEDs that are dedicated grow lights now. But from the hardware store, yeah, the T8s are, well, I've got 4 foot long dual bulb. But yeah, there's a lot of wasted light with the T8s, but it's a good way to get started. And I utilize the fluoros or the T8s by using the heat off them as well. They tend to emit a lot of heat, but that also aids in my germination on racks above that. And you got to have your ventilation right to move that heat away, but if hot air rises naturally, so I'm utilizing it. And yeah, it's like a lot of people develop a germinating room, but I'll try and move it up. I simply just throw them up on top there. You can see the black trays, and that heat is going up, and I'll get super fast germination. And yeah, use them that way. Yeah, so for getting started, we call them fluorescents over here, but T5s, T8s is the way to go. So it's a good, cheap option. But you agree with that? Hey, Marty, you use that?
Yeah. I've used both of those ones in the past. They're very old light.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've even used fluoros in the early days, you know, and they work even. So, you know, Sometimes we get a bit, depends on what we want overall. You're doing it for a business. We're going to have the best growth, the fastest growth, the best shelf life, the best color. We're going for these things and improving it all the time. But sometimes, like if you're just going a few little microgreens underneath you, all you're doing is lifting the lid off and letting them get the UV light so they go green or red or whatever, and then we're harvesting. So, just a few fluoros can sometimes just do the trick.
True. And I just with the T8s, like really experiment with your heights. Like they're not powerful, and if you've got it too high, you're going to get these leggy microgreens with tiny cotyledon leaves, and your yield's going to be disappointing. They're all going to fall over. So you really got to get them down lower. I've noticed, and they'll almost
real close.
Yeah, we do that. Yeah.
Just don't burn them.
But I put mine on what they call cable ties, and they're adjustable, so I just drop them up and down depending on the crop that I'm doing. And like a pea shoot, I want to stretch them at first, and then I slow them down by just jamming it right on top of them. Sorry for my way of describing that, but yeah, it sits just right on it, and that'll green them up, make those leaves much bigger. That's if I finish them off inside. But that's where my space constrictions have forced me to put them outside. So it's a cycle here for me. I'll do the first 4 days, like I said earlier, inside. I'll get them sort of hardened off. And, yeah, it's a sunroom as well, so I'm getting a lot of natural light. It's it's been a funny old start. Those guys that have watched the videos from the beginning, I really struggled to work out a system without having an awesome climate-controlled greenhouse, and I'm still running these systems today, and it works amazingly. So, yeah.
Cool. If anybody doesn't realize, I mean, if you watch Pepe or not, but he's talking about like a time constraint and having to keep things moving is because he actually runs a business and he sells microgreens, baby greens, other leafy greens and that, and other kind of vegetables.
That's right. Yeah, that was actually Marty. I talked to Marty a bit on the phone when I was first going, and he said, with the baby greens, like he's like, I was sort of struggling at the start. Like no one knew what a microgreen was here, and they knew, but they just didn't know the way I was presenting it. I was presenting it live, and no one had seen that. Like there was one lady doing it in my town that only offered 4 varieties, and that's what sort of inspired me to offer more and do it differently, because it wasn't that good, no offense to it, but I'm a chef. I've been a chef since I was 18. I wanted better, so I thought I'll give it a go. And yeah, the live aspect, I've lost my train of thought, but the live aspect was hard to educate and say, well, look, here's a pot full, take it home, cut your own, they're as fresh as you can get, and nutritional value is as best as it can be. Have a go. But yeah, the business has kind of evolved, and Marty told me about baby greens and making up a salad, and so I evolved into some salad greens to up the income and sort of make it all a bigger table for myself. And all these things came along, and then Mike, you got me onto the crack here. Now I can do all these beautiful watercresses in the cooler seasons, and I do some herbs in the summer, and it's just been a constant evolution, and just stoked, and got to the point where it's just awesome. Love this community.
I saw some you were selling to restaurants and that too. I saw you had a couple like high-end chefs and that starting to use your stuff, and you're posting pictures. That all looked really neat.
Yeah, I'm sort of playing around on Instagram a bit lately because it's easier to post a photo for me at the moment. A picture says 1,000 words. To make a video takes me all day sometimes, but yeah, so I'm near Byron Bay. It's become a bit of a tourist venue, and the chefs are starting to filter over here, and the town here is getting very good. Like one of the chefs come from Melbourne, ran big ones in Noosa and down to Byron. Now he's come to Lismore, and he hunted me down, and I made a video about growing sorrel leaves, and I have to get it right each week. The leaves have to be a 10-cent each week. So if I don't get it right, he sends it back, And,
exactly. Just get another one. Just get another. Sounds too difficult.
And anyone that knows that's grown red vein sorrel before, it's really slow and unpredictable. So, yeah, it's been interesting. And yeah, chefs, you got to. I can speak the lingo with a chef. I just walk in and say, show me your menu. This is what I've got. These are the colors I have. Are you a seasonal chef? Are you this? These are the things you got to talk to them about. I've noticed you can't just walk in and say, I've got microgreens. They want to hear your story. They want to know. Basically, if you're passionate about it, they'll lock onto you like a wolf, yeah, and you're sold. You're in forever.
Cool.
Sorry,
Yeah, let me see. Somebody's got a question. How do you let's see, let your lettuce seedlings get before you move them to the cracky system? That's me. I do it as soon as possible. That's what I love about this. I grow microgreens all the time. I grow small batches. Like you see Pepe there with all his big batches, but he's taking them to the market and selling them. I grow enough for me to eat, but I like to keep small batches and keep it coming one behind the other. And that way, if anything dies or we harvest or whatever happens to it, I've always got a little transplant somewhere to pull out and stick in and to keep going. And that way I've got stuff growing like almost 365 days a year. There's not a grow season or anything. And I just move them as soon as I can. And then when you pull them out, don't harvest it and put it in the refrigerator. Let them keep growing. That way, if you did pull them out too soon and those die in a couple of days, you still got some more microgreens to just pop back in there. It's just real carefree. Let me see.
Way to garden for sure. Just keeps rolling over. You keep eating it, it's fresh.
Yeah, it's just awesome. I mean, it's not most of the time. I mean, we went through like my wife making the smoothies all the time and going to the store, and we used to pack the refrigerator with spinach and leafy greens and kale and stuff would get pushed to the back, and you'd always end up just throwing stuff in the compost pile. And just having it growing out your back door when you're ready to go make a juice, you walk out and just cut a couple, leave the rest growing. It's just this fantastic little feeling. Marty, you got I know you said you had about half an hour or something, but do you got more stuff you want to talk about before, in case you get cut off? You got anything else you want to share with us? And
yeah, I've always got so much going on in my head all the time. It's got this exploding. So yeah, basically, I think you really need to, because you've got so many different types of viewers here on YouTube, that we need to sort of like not span out and just go, this is what's perfect. It's really what's finding what works best for you and then sort of molding it to what suits your time, because we're so time poor, and then trying a few different things and keep trying until eventually you find something that works for you and then go, oh, I'm just going to make that better, and then work on making that better and more efficient and things, and keep like turning over food in a small space, because most of us have only got small spaces. So microgreens, baby leaf, and then I call it A, B, and C crops. So your A's, your microgreens or your sprouts, your B, your baby leaf, and then your C might be like a cherry tomatoes and things like that, and lettuce and stuff. And that way you can grab a bit of A, you can grab a bit of B, you can grab a bit of C and mix it together, and you got a salad. And, if you're planting every 1 to 2 weeks with those microgreens and things like that, you can continually go out and just put like 30% of food on your plate. And all of a sudden you get a little bit of a routine. It becomes habitual and you've got fresh food. And you just notice your life change. Your mental health changes. The way you view life changes. Your internal health changes. I just think people that are holding back and not sure, start off very small and then slowly expand out into what they want to do. And then if they feel they got more time, add a little bit more to it. Don't rush into it too much and grow too much too quick, because you'll burn out and then it'll be all over and you'll just give up. So that's probably my overall, it's not a thesis, I guess, but my overall view of it. Just get into it, start small and grow and eat. And as Pepe's got a great saying, stay healthy, tasty, or something like that. Is that it?
Get healthy, get tasty.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah,
but I'm happy until the knock on the door comes, and then I've got to go and film a another video up the road. We're doing some harvesting of some worms, and I've got some editing and background stuff to do. But we're right for the moment. It's good to be here, and I'd like to come again. But anyone's got any questions, happy to answer them.
How are you going over there, Mike, with the season change? Is it all like happened abruptly and shocked to your plants, or it's
Yeah, it's here in Florida we have really short winter, and actually this past winter there were like 2 days that we covered the plants with some sheets, and that was it. And I thought I was going to have to, usually during the winter I either bring some stuff in, and that's when we kind of break stuff down and start over. But all of the stuff that was in like my last video, all the kale and collards and all that that's grown out there just made it through the winter, and it's still going. And we stuck some tomatoes out there, but I can tell in a couple of weeks here it's going to get like warm. It's already up to, I think it was like 85 Fahrenheit over here. And, spring's just started. So we're probably going to have a monster summer. That's why we decided to put up a shade house, kind of like we saw, Pepe, you had a couple of shade houses. And we decided to go ahead and get some material that we had laying around. I'll do a little video with that. Instead of going out and buying a lot of stuff, I kind of used some old material and tried to make it look nice. But it's hopefully I can grow a little bit more because everything was situated. I was telling everybody I try to get morning sun and then shade the rest of the time, because if these crack key systems heat up, the plants will die. So summertime, you can't have them sitting out in direct sun like you do in wintertime. So we have them all situated against the walls and the overhangs. But I'm thinking if we have a shade house, I can maximize the space. I have a tiny little yard, but we can pull some stuff out and kind of have it out in the open and get a little sun and kind of shade and see how it go. But not looking forward to the heat at all.
I got a tip for that, if you don't mind me adding to it. There's a guy over in the UK. He's in one of my Facebook groups, and we've been friends for years. He invented this like a greenhouse shade house that comes off the wall, and some people ripped off his idea and end up selling it on Amazon. I can't remember what it's called now, but it just comes out at 45 degrees off the wall. So if you're growing vertical, you just have this thing that just rolls out and comes out at 45. And I was speaking to something about Pepe a while ago, similar to this, but you can come off the wall and just come straight down. You've got a couple of tent pegs in the bottom, and then when the sun comes back up, you can roll it down halfway, you can pull it up, and it just runs off tent pegs and some springs. As long as you can attach it to the wall, and as soon as it gets hot, you just pull it out at 45 off the wall or your system. And you can change shade cloth sizes. In winter, you can put even like a clear plastic and increase your heat. So that's what I recommend people do. Other than that, plant big plants in pots around that will shade things like amaranth. And I think Pepe tried to get you to grow some amaranth in a contest a while ago, I remember.
Yeah, I was just looking at that video.
Yeah. But just back on shade cloth, Marty, do you remember when we spoke, I was telling you about the colors of shade cloth? It's very interesting. I grow some chilies for this chili company, but the guy used to set up shade areas like netting over fruit trees and things like that. And he looked at my shade house and said, "Why did you choose green?" And I said, "Well, green's what you'd expect to see." He goes, "No, why didn't you use blue?" I said, "Okay, what do you mean?" And I thought shade cloths were just coloured to suit what you wanted to suit your backyard, really. But no, apparently the blue will filter out. I don't know. I can't really elaborate on this, but if anyone can, look into it. Green is filtering out certain spectrums, and it will affect the color of your plant. So he suggested using blue for my microgreens, and I'm not really flowering or doing anything much more than growing cotyledon to a true leaf. I don't know, but I found it quite interesting. Do you remember I mentioned that to you, mate?
Yeah. Makes sense. But you think you just got to look at the big farmers that trial everything around your area, and if they're using, it depends on what they're growing too, because light spectrums, as we said, you want to get flowers and things like that growing. But yeah, it makes sense. But I think it really comes down to at the end of the day, if you can get the green one 50% cheaper and you're only getting 5% difference, then
100%, yeah. Bootstrap farming.
I've been a bit of a cheapskate. That would be my go. But you know what I mean. If you're going for the best ultimate product you could get, and possibly the blue or the whites, maybe that's all new information. We haven't spoke about that since, and I haven't really looked into it, but it makes sense.
I haven't changed anything to suit that yet either. So just thought, yeah, it was interesting.
Cool. Yeah, something to look into. I know that's what I remember from a science class or something. They said, like, if something's red, it's really every color but red because it's absorbing all the spectrum and reflecting red, and that's what our eye sees. Yes. So there must be something going on with the color of the shade cloth. And like you said, ours is black because Keely, who's in the chat, she wanted to look nice and modern. So she didn't let me go get the different colors of this big thing in the middle of our yard, a little yard. So we got black.
Black's cool. Can you see the chat, Marty? I can't see nothing.
No, I've just got a live button in the right side, and I can see you, and then I can see. I can see the chat. Okay, so.
Yeah, I've got two windows going. If I don't know if you guys could open. I don't know if I know Pepe's on his phone, but Marty, if you were on like your iPad, if you had like your phone or something, you could get on the internet and look at my feed that's going on. You could actually see the chat going by.
Yeah, okay, I'll probably get confused, so I'm doing that, going backwards and forwards. So
yeah, that's what happened. It happens to me.
You read out. I'm a bit dyslexic, so.
All right. Well, I can look on through here if you want to yak for a while. Outside this year.
Yeah, okay. You have a read through it, and yeah. So I think that getting back to like the original stuff of like like what you were saying of everyone getting in here and joining in and then getting a conversation going and seeing where it leads and flows has been really good so far. And I'm sort of hoping that, if people that are listening are finding that beneficial really, and that they want to, I'm happy to really, if someone's got a question and if you're happy to go that way, to take a spin off what we're talking about. Because I think, some people might sit there with a question, but we're talking about shade cloth and microgreens, but they might want an answer for something else. And maybe between the three of us, one of us can answer it. Obviously we're not geniuses. Well, maybe
right.
You are.
But what we'll do is, like I said, this is like one of the first streams in that. I'm working on getting like the OBS, the Streamlabs hooked up. And when I do that, I can put the chat in there and everyone can see it. There was that other one that I told you all about, StreamYard, and I can actually highlight a comment and it'll come up. I used that last week.
Yep, I saw that.
But I didn't do that with, trying to invite people in. Yep. So, that's another option we could, give a try. So like I said, we're just starting. Somebody was asking about like mold issues and that with like the microgreens.
I reckon Pep can answer that because a friend of ours has got the you would know too, Mike, got the special spray. But there's other ways to get around it without having to use the sprays in small amounts. What do you think, Pepe?
I'm not sure if Brent's in the chat, but I'm a big fan of his antifungal. It's a mixture of, please go to Brent's channel and watch his video. It's amazing. But, it's a mix of neem oil, oregano oil, dishwashing liquid, and
hydrogen peroxide.
Potassium bicarbonate. That's right. And, I use it all the time, especially if I'm watching the weather constantly. And if I know there's humidity coming, I'll drench my soils, I'll drench my plants, my trays, and just in it to prevent. But I try not to. If I run out of a certain ingredient in that blend, I'll just use a simple hydrogen peroxide, 15 mils with 15 milliliters of vinegar in 1 liter of water. That's just a matter of when you plant. It works with hydroponic soil, everything. This sprays, they're amazing. So just. I literally soil my tray, I spray the soil, I let it drench, soak, and then I put the seed down, I'll spray it again. If I use vermiculite that time, I'll hit it again. And then when I unstack it, I'll hit it with that because it's organic. I'm using all the organic products. I'm not worried. It's not a chemical to me, and it works amazing. Proof is in the pudding. There's no chemicals used here, and Brent really saved my farm back then. I was having a lot of.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to give that a try.
Brent's Hydroponics and something channel, isn't it? If people want to look at
Hydroponic gardening and more with Brent.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. If I can just add something to that for small stuff, just don't plant so densely. If you're getting it, you're doing little small things like Mike and I are doing now. I'm doing it obviously in the compost. He's doing it in the water and hydroponics. You just don't plant so densely. If you're getting it, just next time thin it out a bit more, and allow a lot of airflow into it. If we get greedy and plant too dense, we're going to get problems. But if there's airflow getting through it, especially from underneath, sometimes I find that if you've got airflow coming underneath into the roots as well, that really helps. But just simple containers without too many, without going too hard, too thick.
That's the thing that's kind of tempting is when you're making a small container and not packing it into too much. But we've got this Florida and like the humidity's some days it's just up near 100, and they'll stay like that for weeks. So we got to have a little fan going or something. Like you said, if you pack it too dense, especially it's probably Pepe, you probably laugh at my little sunflower sprouts and that picture there. They were struggling, but yeah, I know we make a lot of things look like oversimplified sometimes on, videos. We're just, hey, just do this and this, because you only have so much time to, nobody wants to watch a 2-hour video on something, but there's a lot of nuances that go into it and practice. That's what I hope that people don't give things a try and fail 1 or 2 times and just go, phooey with this, because we've all been through all the trials and tribulations and it's just, I try to show when some things go wrong too, but there's only so much you can do on YouTube, and keep everyone's attention. But yeah, you've got to go through all those failures and that to get to finding something that works right in your area.
Exactly. And Marty said it earlier, you're going to work out what works for you. And I try to say it in every video, this is how I do it. It's not how to do it, because it literally isn't. And, every scenario is different. And I've spoken to a lot of new growers now that have contacted me here in Australia, and they want to sort of model it the same. And I'm like, well, where do you live? And that's my first question. And what type of growing facility do you have? And it's going to be totally different to me. Like, there's people in Darwin, Marty, they're still at 37 degrees Celsius at the moment, whereas people down in Ballarat are getting through 9-degree days. I'm talking Celsius, which is a big difference, and how it's going to affect your growing and your style.
Yeah, we've got people up north. As hot as it is up here, they're getting snow, in North America right now. It's just, and just answering all the questions, that, like you said, that's the first thing you got to ask, because it's with the internet now, they could be anywhere. It might be, Egypt or something they're asking from, or Iceland, or, you never know where they're from.
Exactly.
Yeah, seasonally in your area. Just grow the seasons. Look at what's seasonable. It's the same with microgreens and baby leaf and stuff. If it's cold, you grow your peas and your legumes. When it starts warming up, grow your herbs and things like that. It's very similar. Just treat it like that.
Let's see. Somebody asked, have you ever used bird seed to plant sunflower sprouts? Seems cheaper than seeds for companies.
Yes. Plenty of time.
Always tempting.
Everyone's going to hate me for this, and I'm going to say, yes, I have, and I still do.
I admit to everyone that contacts me and asks me questions about sunflower that I practiced on birdseed. Yeah, I did, because I wanted density, I wanted yields off a small space, so I'd jam it in there until I got it right. And yeah, sure, I'd just give the tray to my chickens as fodder or eat it. It didn't bother me. But yeah, I practiced with birdseed. But the difference when using good seed versus birdseed is, wow, you'll notice the difference. they're just,
So it's a little, I mean, that's a good point, is to use that to practice, because regular seeds, when you're doing microgreens, because you're putting them in there really dense. So if you're just practicing, you can go through a lot of money testing and just getting it right. But if you can maybe do it with the bird seed, you know, that could be a little cheaper. The only thing, your germination rate might be a little different once you switch over, right?
You can get mold problems too from it. You can use dried peas from shops and things. You can go in like those seed, like health food stores, and you can get dried stuff from them and practice on that. But it's like, I 100% agree with Pepe. It's about the freshest seed you can get, the best quality seed that you can get, that you can afford. Use that. If you can only afford the sunflower seed, which is the bird one, which is just the secondary byproduct of the good quality that they have, because they're harvesting every year here in Australia, massive volumes of it. You know, it's not toxic in any way. They don't put any chemicals on it and things like that. It's just harvested and bagged and then just let sit for ages. So it's just not as good a quality seed overall. Like a good fresh seed, the fats inside, more pure. They've got more, there's more, the fats are actually going to feed that plant much better in a quality seed. They're not drying up inside the seed. So you got more what they call, you know, like a more life force and energy in a newer seed. Very important, eh, Pepe?
Exactly. Yeah, agree. And yeah, it's about 18. If you're just starting out down here in Australia, it's $18 a kilo for good seed, and that's expensive. I don't know. I know you guys in the States, it's good. It's better prices, and I've talked about that before. But for me to see, I'm using bigger trays than my 1020s for growing the sunflower. They're pretty much 1.5 a 1020, and I'm putting in 200 grams of seed per pot per tray. And if I'm wasting, so that's only 5 trays to me, and I'm cycling 30 trays a week now at that site, like different orders going out different times of the week. So that's a big waste if I don't get it right. And practice on birdseed, that's my tip. And then, yeah, especially down under with our prices.
Yeah, we get ripped off here big time on everything.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of the prices. People were asking me about what stuff cost here, and they were saying how much it cost over there. I was just like blown away. But somebody else said, yeah, the bulk food section of grocery stores. I'm gonna tell you some of the things that I've used too, as I've went into over here, Indian marts and Asian mart, and they have a lot of dried beans and seeds, and lots of times it's just harvested and dried, not treated or anything. You know, it's just, and if you get anything that's been like heat treated, it might not work as well. But I've bought some of their beans and seeds for like 75 cents or $1, and use those to, like Pepe was saying, to, you know, to practice with, to try and learn how, you know, how many you can put in and what the germination rates are. And some of them grew. I mean, there's buckwheat. You can even get amaranth, like I said, in like the health food stores, and it's actually a lot cheaper than, you know, ordering it through a sprout place. So you just gotta experiment with it. But, you know, it's some of the cheaper things like that, like the methane and fenugreek. You know, I just bought that up there for $1, and it works fine. But some of the other things, I've been buying my sunflower sprouts and that from the Sprout House. I think it was about $15, I think, for 1 pound, a 1 pound bag.
You could be a little bit careful with, obviously, you know, you got to always read labels and things, but every seed company, because it's not policed so much, it's getting more policed here in Australia. We're not allowed to, very soon, we're not allowed to import organic seed because of bio reasons, biosecurity. So there's going to be no organic seed coming into Australia very soon. But, you know, like some of the seed that you buy out of the places that you mentioned, like the marts and things, I do that as well from time to time, because they get very good organic seed in some places. It's quality. And I don't have to wait for it to come in the mail. Now, I don't trust every website that says we've got this and that, especially coming into Australia. Most of our seeds imported. You know, so it's very catch-22 situation, and that could be like that right around the world. You've just got to really build up the trust with those people that you buy seeds off. And like in Australia, a good trusted one's greenharvest.com.au. They're really into, they're a little bit more expensive, but you get a good quality seed. And then like Pepe and I, we buy a lot of our seed from like wholesalers and things, you know, now, and avoid those little middlemen as of much. But it's difficult. You really got to do your research well on seed.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me see. Somebody's got a question. Somebody asked, I've got summer squash that I started in a tub. I use the noodles. Okay, like what I'm doing, but they're ready to transplant. Can I keep them in the noodle and move them to a 5-gallon bucket? Okay. Oh, that was for me. Yeah, but if you're going to put them in a 5-gallon bucket, I mean, if the pool noodle is just holding it in place. You know, if you're going to put it in there with hydrogen, you don't need the pool noodle. You just take it out. It serves no purpose other than just hold the plant inside the hole so the roots dangle down inside of the nutrient solution, just like the little cloning collars. Let's see. Can I put in 2 buckets of one? All righty. If anybody's got questions for Marty or Pepe, go ahead and if you ask them now, it'll come down to the bottom of the chat, and then I don't have to scroll back through and try to find it. But yeah, cool. I really appreciate you two guys hanging out here. I know, like I said, it's the beginning of the week over there. It's Monday. You know, this Sunday night for us, our weekend's just winding down. But you guys, you're like ahead of us. So, you know, your work week's just starting out, and really appreciate you taking a little time and coming and hanging and just chit-chatting.
I've been dying to do this, Mike. I'm really glad to talk to you.
Cool.
Personally.
Yeah. What we got to do sometime too is just all of us. It doesn't have to be an interview like a live. I mean, if you guys just want to do a Google Hangout that's just private, you know, and just, I know you two said you've talked before in that, but you know, if everybody's got like 5 or 10 or, you know, a half hour sometime to just sit down and yak about YouTube stuff or, you know, just anything, you know, it'd kind of be fun for us all to just get together and chat.
I'd like that. Yeah. Yeah. I've just joined a new YouTube community, an Aussie one actually, run by some Aussies. Justin, are they called Primal Video or something like that, to help me improve my channel and my content and things.
Yeah, he's awesome. I've seen him Primal Video. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Justin Brown or something like that.
I've been in there about 5 days or something now. I'm hoping that it will improve my content and overall. It's all about the user experience, right? So try and get the people to enjoy it. As you know, like I guess the hardest thing is that everyone's their span so short on, you know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and bang, you've lost them, you know. Excuse me 1 sec. I just got to see if I've got a customer.
No problem.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's why we're all creators. We got our lives in that too. I gotta go sell. You had a bug?
I got a compost sale. I gotta go.
Okay.
Unreal. But I want to chat again soon for sure. I'll send some messages. There's a knock on the door.
Okay.
How's that? Selling live compost. See you, Pepe.
See you, Marty.
Appreciate it, Marty.
Catch you soon, guys. I haven't got time to turn the thing off yet, but I'll come back and do that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We'll be here for a little while.
I won't be long, maybe. Cheers, guys.
Cool. That's life, right? That's why we're, you know, YouTube's not our full-time life. We all got other things we have to do.
He's doing live business to his home. I don't do that.
Yeah. Now, Marty's awesome. It's like I said, I've been watching him for about 7 or 8 years. And, you know, he's still around. Like I said, if he's, you know, getting with Justin Brown, that's pretty cool. But, you know, YouTube, if it's, you know, just trying to get this going, is just, you know, it's like a full-time job in itself.
100% agree. I had to put the brakes on and stop uploading weekly just to make some money for a while. But I understand, man, it's a lifestyle. And it's, you know, it's about sharing and the caring. That's 100% why I did it. And wanted to inspire. But yeah, I'll be back and I'll have lots to show. That's what I'm excited about.
Cool. Well, I got you and Marty. I got your links down in the description of here. And a lot of the people who are in here already know who you guys are, but whatever you can post, Pepe, it's just fun watching you because, like I said, I met you about a year ago, and you've grown a lot, since then. It's just real fascinating to watch all these people, even and the people who are out here like CB and Brad and Travis and all these guys. Just looking at where we're at right now compared to a year ago is just, blows my mind, and that we can all, share and learn from each other. This is, pretty awesome little community.
Oh, it's good to be on board. Yeah, it's so much. Yeah, just like when you said how it grew so quickly, it's been a lot more than just the microgreens though. I don't know how many are out there that are actually trying to make a business of it, but there's videos coming up from me that are more about, master your craft first, master growing that plant, and then a whole new element of expansion just opens up. But it's not so much how well you garden, it's about how you are out there, it's how you are marketing, it's how you are selling your products. So if you understand, Mike, there's a lot more involved, and then sort of trying to say how things blew up so quickly for me is just because of, researching entrepreneurs and researching lifestyles of small business.
Yeah, I mean, you do, and that's what I've seen you do a lot too. Like you said, you look this up because some of your videos, the things that you're explaining, are things that you're looking up and trying to figure out, but it's stuff that you either figured that your customer might want, or the like I said, the restaurants want a different product than what the people at the farmer's market or the grocery store might want, and working with the packaging, like you were working and getting the biodegradable packaging and your trays, that there's a lot of behind the scenes that you don't see on YouTube that I know is going into all of this, but that you are where you're at today is because you did that back in that research and put in the work that we don't see all of that, but that's part of the process.
Exactly. And just being at the forefront of it, it's a relatively new industry. It still is, although, we talk about it all the time. I'm telling you, 95% of people out there still don't know what a microgreen is. So we're at the front. We've got such an opportunity, and to develop and research is hard at the moment, but yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's it. It's just, educating people, because I think right now we're still at the part where people think a microgreen is like a garnish or just to make something look pretty. And now they're kind of getting into the health part of it. But, it's like I said, it's part just selling a product, but it's also educating people too. It's not like you've just got a pretty carrot or a pretty apple or something that everybody's always bought. You've kind of got a new product that a lot of the public out there doesn't know about.
That's it. He's back. Coffee.
I can't let the Aussie team down, see?
Good on you, Marty.
Awesome. Hey, both of you, somebody was asking about white flies. We've got a big problem with them out here. And what do y'all do? I know I just try to put a little, like one of those bright yellow sticky boards and put a little Vaseline or something sticky on it, or I know they've got like a green or a blue one now for a different type of pest, but that's about all I do. There's really not too much else, with it, short of using pesticide.
Depends on the situation that your whitefly are in, I guess. I haven't had to deal with them too much over the years. I know that hydroponic guys deal with them radically with indoor stuff, right? And so they use those strips and things. The old strips, those old fly strips, they're really hard to get now. But back when I was a kid, and Pepe might not even remember these, well, when I was very young, people used to hang them up around doorways and things, and they'd stick to them, If you can get them, they work pretty good. Other than that, pyrethrum white oil, just in a hand spray. It's not very toxic, and that'll that'll knock them on the head. But you've got to be consistent with it, yeah, and find out where they're breeding. So why are they breeding and where are they breeding and why? You know, that's the first thing. You know, really, every situation is different. I think they sometimes even breed in the soil. I've got a bit of an outbreak of a little fly out here in my compost at the moment, which I show in another video. I put whenever I boost it with nitrogen, they come like a hot day, boom, they all just come out, and the eggs, it must be sometimes in the compost. So I'm slowing up on feeding my compost at the moment, just for that reason. But not totally experienced on that one, so I can't give a real deep understanding on it. But I know white oil and pyrethrum is pretty good if you got lots and lots of them and you're not too worried, because it'll wash off, I think, quite well off your food.
Neem oil working okay too. Just neem oil and water. But you've got to mix a bit of detergent in there too. It makes it bind with the water better.
You have to like spray the top of the leaves and flip them over and get under them and get all over, or do you just get out there and spray?
For the white flies or things that come into my room here, it's just, yeah, I don't literally spray I've got to move everything out to treat it in here. I don't want to get anything on the leaves. I just use neem oil, but the taste is not desirable. Yeah, just
right.
The taste.
Yeah, stay away from it. I wouldn't even want to eat that anyway. So the truth. But I think like in situations, someone's growing tomatoes and big herbs and things, you can go and spray like a white oil and a pyrethrum or something like that, and then later on, because a couple of days you're going to hit it with a hose and that anyway. But if you're going to be spraying and eating, sometimes look, you really got to bite the bullet and just harvest everything and let it regrow, and then there's nothing for the flies to breed on or to attack, and you just got to start again, you know, instead of fighting it. You got to just go, look, you guys have won. I'm just going to remove everything and all the situations where they can breed and stuff, and then just start again, you know. Sometimes we've got to understand that we've lost. I don't like to lose, but
well, that's the one thing with what we're doing too is, I mean, you can lose and everything can be gone and you can start over.
Look, it's funny because we get brush turkeys around. I don't get them here where I live now, thank goodness. But up around where I was living, close to Pepe and other places, we get this turkey, and it can't fly very well. It can get up a few meters in the trees, and it used to get in my microgreen trays because they're big, like a big rooster, and just got their feet and just go 2 big hacks, man. Done. There's like $10 gone straight away like that, and they're done. They've got them trays. 2 turkeys in 2 minutes can destroy $200 worth of material if they get under the net, you know. So yeah, you've got to go. Really? I've lost a war. I had a war with turkeys for 2 months, slingshots. People are going to say, don't shoot birds, but I'm not. It's a terrible thing, I know, but I put out, when you're losing $200 in 2 minutes, you got to think what you're going to do. We put out chili on birdseed, and then they just come and ate it all, and you read, chili doesn't affect birds, you know. So it just got lost again. Till eventually I just went and got really good netting and netted it all down and just gone, well, start again.
We did that one year. We had we were farmhands, and the ranch that we were farmhands on had a flock of peacocks. They had like about 30 peacocks, and they kind of kept their distance. But one time we were out of town for about 3 or 4 days, and they got over, I mean, everything at my entire porch. And we had like a whole field of butternut squash. They went through and pecked every one of them. You know, they ate the whole thing. They were like pecking at the pest and that. But we came home and like everything was like dumped over. And like you said, they ripped all apart and half eaten, but you know, everything destroyed like that.
Yeah, pretty peacocks. Not pretty at the time when you come back.
No.
But you know, I'm an animal lover, so I'll do everything I can to protect the animal first and then do what I can at the end. But I was just making jokes about the slingshots because the story was Karen and I, we used to chase them. We'd wait till they were in the backyard and then we'd run out with these water pistols and spray them. We were making fun out of it the whole lot. It was really quite entertaining for a while till you figure out that this bird you think that is really stupid is super intelligent. And it's like something out of those old cartoons where you've got, you know, the old Disney ones or whatever, where you've got Daffy Duck and the little mouse, you know, like, or whatever, and the little mouse always is winning and Daffy Duck's trying to get the little mouse. That's how we felt, you know, until eventually you just go, well, I've lost the race. The birds can come in. I've just got to stop away to stop the birds from getting in, you know. And so put nets up and things and did that. But for that, you know, we just want to beat the birds. That's what I'm saying. We try and beat and win until eventually we exhaust ourselves. But sometimes you just need to sit back and go, it's not about winning. We've got to start again. And I'm sure Pepe's been through that with the weather as well. You know, we get hammered with some hot days. You yourself, Mike, you spoke about that. That's just gardening and growing food, and you get more wins than you get losses. You do pretty well.
But the summer here was horrible, Marty. You remember I don't know if you got rain down there, but we had a drought. We had 1 millimeter of rain in 5 weeks, and it was the worst since 1896 or something in our area. So what happened was my greens gardens, I've got water. So I was hand watering and doing things, you know, just to save the day. But what happened is we got these things called wood ducks, and they're wild ducks, and they used to just come and pick at my lettuce now and then. I thought, that's okay, I can deal with that. But then they realized there's no food around. We literally look like the middle of winter around here. Our grass was dead. So my gardens got destroyed. So I've had to, and I still do now, because they got a taste for it. They love Mizuno now. They love mixed gourmet lettuce. Oh, they're spoiled ducks. But I've had to build out of polypipe and bird netting tunnels for all my beds. And, you know, I've got 10 beds cycling at a time coming through germination to full term. And, yeah, each bed has cost me $70 because I've got a certain size, certain design. But you just got to do those things. But I've found it's also helped keep me a lot. Well, I already was spray-free, but it's keeping out the white butterfly, the caterpillar moth. Yeah, that's it. And it's been an actual learning curve that was beneficial, so I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that's what we had, chickens or whatever. I miss those, and they go through and pick the pests and that off too. But we're in the city now; we can't have them. We had about a dozen of them before. Let me see, looking through questions. One thing else about that I do about the pest a little bit is, like Marty said, sometimes you just lose. And that's why I like to grow different, you know, not like just a ton of kale and have a bunch of little different things growing. I know, Marty, it's like a little jungle back there where, you know, with a lot of different varieties going on. But then the pests get kind of confused, and you won't have, you know, if you've got just a ton of collards and then the, you know, cabbage moths or whatever come in and just really do a number on you. If you've got little small things, if you lose a little here or a little there and you deal with it, then you replace it with something else. I like to keep diverse. And one other thing was sacrificial plants. I was talking to people, if I grow some things, I'll grow extra and move it out farther from the garden, and where that might not be as healthy, or I might not pay as much attention to it, but it'll take care of some of the pests at least. I don't know if I'm attracting more in or if it's helping, but it seems like, you know, that it keeps some of them at bay. You know, I've playing around and just let those go and you know, come what may with those.
Yeah, I've got some good tips on that, actually, because I've tried a lot of that stuff, and the companion planting is definitely the key to go. Like, I was thinking the other day when you said you were going to call about the having a discussion here and you know, like getting together, and I put out a video a while ago, an organics gardening one, and I talk about windrows behind, and you know, it's the same with if you're growing in you could be growing in trays, you could be growing vertically, you could be growing in small pots and things like small yards, or big yards. It's all to scale. If you plant a whole lot of shrubs together, and especially if they're like little like local ones and a few little tiny fruit trees and some things, and you never touch that area, you just throw compost and mulch on top, the insects and the little birds and things are going to eventually move into that spot, and they're going to use that as a safety zone for them, and they'll come out and they'll hunt on the stuff in your foods and things, you know. So if you put little hangers up for the little birds to come up, and so the cat can't get them, and they can fly down and swoop and grab a little insect, little bit of water around, a few shrubby trees, and the soil down below in winter, the insects will go down into the subsoil, and they do this thing called diapause, and they just sit and wait, and they just go into like a metabolic sort of change. Then they'll come back out again. So you get the good insects and the bad insects come out, but you have a balance. So having too much of one, like you're saying, the monocropping, that'll create an imbalance of too many bad insects. So my recommendation really, if you've got a little yard, plant like some little shrubs and things around, so little finches and little birds can come in, and you can get like praying mantis will be in there, and you might get a little one out and feed on the pests in your hydroponic area or in your little garden, things like that. And that's more of a long-term thing. And that works really, really well. But you don't disturb it once you set it up. You just keep adding a few more trees and plant some herbs around the side of it and things like that.
Cool. Good tips. Yeah, I'll put my wife to that. I'll make her start doing that right away.
Little shrubs about 3 feet high are perfect.
Yeah, we've got like room around the yard. Like I said, I spend all my time growing stuff that we can eat, and she likes to grow ornamental things and that too. So, you know, I tell her to set up little areas. I think she's got a little spot out underneath of a tree. She's trying to make it, you know, like put flowering plants in that to attract bees and butterfly. We're here in the city now. Yeah. It's not like when we're out in the country and like, you know, a couple little flowers and there'd be a swarm of bees on it. You know, now it's like we see one or two coming by. So
blue flowers, I think, probably perform the best for attracting bees. That's my, you know, they all do, but they seem to be, they love the blue flowers for some reason. You know, especially the basils and, you know, lavenders and things like that. You know.
Borage is good.
Yeah, borage is a blue flower, isn't it? Is that a blue?
Yeah. There's blue and white, but common is blue. It brings in everything that's beneficial.
Somebody asked if anybody has a good resource for companion planting. I haven't found any good info yet.
Yeah, there's a book. I don't want to plug this, but I've got there's a book on my. If you go to my channel, on the right-hand side at the top of the header, there's like a thing that goes to. I have a little Amazon store, and there's a book in there that's pretty good. It's about $10, but it's a very good book. There is another one that I could recommend, but it's very hard to get, and I don't have it floating around here on the table. But you can go to Pinterest as well, if you know, because I don't want to plug my stuff because that's not the reason. But
go ahead. Now that's what we're all here for.
Yeah, but you can
no problem.
You can go to Pinterest. There's lots of good stuff in Pinterest, or you can go there and check out that book that I've got there. I'll get about 30 cents or something. Someone buys the book.
Yeah, no. I mean, this isn't. I mean, lots of people are out there. It's I think if people are like new, it seems like everybody has their own merch and everybody, you know, is always selling. But you know, we've known you guys, I mean, for years and things. It's, you know, this is what we do. It's not, we're not going to retire being YouTube stars or whatever. And you know, if you want to come on up and you got a little book, or Pepe, you got anything, anybody comes on here, it's no, you know, no big deal. I hate all those places, you know, they get together and everybody's like the police and, you know, and have all these rules and everything, what you can and can't do. We're all out here just trying to make a living and help other people, you know, at the same time. So no problem at all.
I didn't write it, but it's a good book. And there's on Pinterest as well. You can go there and there's lots of stuff on companion planting. And I've got some companion planting videos in my channel as well. So you go to the channel and just type in companion planting in the search area there. And I've got some there. And if people can always come to me on those videos or other videos and ask me companion planting questions. I'm happy to answer them.
Cool. And also both of these guys are on Instagram. I mean, and you've got links from I've got links to your YouTube channels, but from there they can find you on Instagram, and that it's basically Marty's Garden and is it 560 Farms or
560 Farms? Yeah.
It's okay. They both got Instagram, and you can just DM them there too if you have questions. I mean, I'm sure these guys are both really helpful and don't mind helping out.
Pepe's the microgreens king on Instagram. He's got the number one spot for microgreens. Time I checked, he didn't even know. I rang him up and said, "Did you know what?" He goes, "What?" And I said, "You got the number one spot in microgreens for Instagram." And he goes, "That's unreal." I said, "Yeah, I know. I'm so jealous."
No, micro acres. Check them out if you want to see some. No, it's you know, Instagram's fun. Just post a photo. And
awesome. I still got your little picture with the microgreens, and you had the little Lego guys in there cutting them down like trees.
That was fun. And since then, all my kids have bought me little packs to do it again, like construction workers and things.
Photos are really good, Pepe. Yeah, they're great. They're really good.
Thanks, Marty. But yeah, that's done for business again, you know. Plus showing transparency of the farm and doing something on social media, just slack on the videos now and then. So yeah, it's been really helpful in all ways.
I think if we're going to keep carrying on doing the videos, if we've got time to get them together, whether it's whatever who's there, it'd be good to know in the people they write down the comments what they'd like to see. You know, like if we can, you know, like obviously I'm going to be running some live shows in the future, but I'm still not sure exactly when. Maybe Saturday mornings I'm going to do that. But everyone's so, you know, it's hard for the time because we're all so time poor. But
yeah, well, there's one thing they can do too is I don't think people notice, but when I put this out, the announcement, there was a Google Doc that they could fill out a question. And right before the show, I checked it and there weren't any questions. But, you know, as this goes on and more people, if they get used to seeing you like come up every week, they'll get used to going over there and fill out the question. And then, you know, before the show starts, I can have them already listed out. But yeah, there's a couple, you know, I probably miss them going through here too, because it's, you know, unless I sit here and just focus on that. Let's see, George asked something like, what is your number one tip you wish you knew when starting hydroponics? So like Marty, if you've done hydroponics, Pepe, you've done a little bit, right?
I would say you've done more than us, Mike. Believe you, mate.
This is for you, Mike. I'm only a way beginner.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's just like what Marty said, it's just practice, do small batches. It's like this thing up here, you know, if you can go out and get small containers and just do 1 or 2 and go get some transplants from the nursery, you know, instead of trying to grow your own seed, unless you're going to grow microgreens, you've already got them, but go ahead and try it out. You know, that's what I did, was just stick a head of lettuce, just like Dr. Cracky did, in a container. And, you know, and when I saw it grew, I was like, oh, let me see what else I can try. But if you're going to start hydroponics and you run out and you go to the hydro store and you go and they'll say you need the NFT channels and you need rock wool and you need net cups and you need a pump and you need pH meters, you need pH up, pH down, you got to check your parts per million, and before then you're like, you know, your checkbook, you know, it is running dry and you're growing like $20 worth of lettuce. So, you know, that's why I like doing this, is everybody can just try that, start small, practice what works for you, then scale on that. What doesn't work for you in your area, you know, I grow a lot of pak choi, but where you're living, it might not do good. You know, if you know, find out what works for you, start small and then scale up from there.
Spring onions are a great one. We buy them from the restaurant. You know, I just chop them in, like harvest from them, and I just chop the top part and just put them in water, and they throw a few roots, and I stick them in the ground again. But you can do that with those little cracky, like a little ice cream container, like a dark blue one. You know, you just cut the hole in the top and whack them in, and they put them on your windowsill, a bit of light, and you're just harvesting all the time. Like, that is one of the most simplest ones that I know of. And I do it in just glass jars, pure laziness. I'll do water, and sometimes I'll put a drop of hydroponics, or sometimes I'll throw a few worm castings in there. You know, I'll do it like that. That's the most simplest cracky method I know. Just in a glass jar with spring onions. Yeah,
and it's a mint too is another one. You know, that comes in a, you know, they always have it in soil, but if you rinse that off and put it in a hydro, I mean, it just grows wild. Mint and basil.
Yeah, that Vietnamese mint, I'm interested to see how you go with that, Mike, because That's a really tasty herb, and it's a very small leaf. It's only like a couple of centimeters long, and you've got to keep harvesting it to make it grow nice and bushy. And it's got a flavor. I can't even think of the flavor, but I'm growing like, no, you guys can't grow. What's that, Pepe?
It's like a coriander cross mint flavor to me.
Yeah. It's really unreal flavor. First time you have it, it's very unique, isn't it? But you get more used to it. I get the kangkong, and then I get the Vietnamese mint and a little bit of Thai basil, and I mix it with microgreens, and I get a lettuce, like a lettuce leaf. What do you call it? The big round lettuces, the icebergs, and just wrap it like a Vietnamese style and just hunk into it. And that's all out of the garden, maybe except the lettuce leaf, because I'm not growing icebergs, you know. I can do that with a big other lettuce that I'm growing outside, which is just starting to grow now because it's getting cooler. But yeah, you know, like, because then you just go, I'll have a little bit of Thai basil, I'll have a little bit of the Vietnamese mint, I'll have some microgreens, then I'll just chop up a little bit of lettuce leaf, a little bit of olive oil, even if you want, a little bit of salt and pepper, and you've got this thing that is just the bomb, because that's a flavor power pack nutrition. And it doesn't matter how you're growing it, it's just going to be unreal, you know. And you see the Vietnamese and the Thais using that. We haven't got to that with the betel leaf yet, the one I mentioned, but that's the simplest way. You've got those little cracky hydroponic things like that with your 3 or 4 different microgreens. You've got 2 or 3 tubs of the herbs, so the Thai basil, and then you've got the Vietnamese mint, and you're just mixing them together. 1 bit of lettuce, that's costs you about 5-6 cents to have a big lettuce roll. It's unreal.
Yeah,
I get
charge you like $5 or $6 in a restaurant to have something like that.
Yeah,
It's like sanctuary bow, it sounded like. Is that how you say it? Sanctuary bow?
I don't know. Is it the Vietnamese word for it?
Yeah.
That's like a wrap, like a Vietnamese wrap sort of thing, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. And like the bao, I think, is with like a steamed bun or something.
Traveled a lot through Asia, so I've experienced a lot of those that I can bring back home to trial and grow here. And you know, I guess if you find a little thing that you love and that you're passionate about, so I was saying before, find something that's good for you and just work on that, make it better. I love the Asian green, so that's why I do that. And the microgreens are just so quick and easy. You can add them with anything. Just put them on top of dishes and put them on the side in salads, and they're so quick and easy.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to say about like baby greens and that too, is that, you know, if you grow some of these crops, if you grow like kale and collards and that, you can grow them like full maturity, but they get like tough and bitter. And that's why you take them and we either cut them up and cook them for a long time. But when you grow a baby green, it's nice and tender. If you get the microgreens and let it grow a little bit to baby green, they're selling those. It's really expensive in the store now, like baby kale, which years ago, kale was like decoration. It was like 10 cents a pound. You know, when I was growing up, they used it as garnish over here on a plate. Nobody ate it. They put it on all the plates at the restaurant and they throw it away. So, you know, now everybody's, you know, in the kale craze and the price has just gone through the roof. But you can grow like kale like nothing and go out there and pick baby kale all the time. Eat it raw. It's nice and tender. You don't have to worry about, you know, cutting it up and cooking it. Keely will have collards when they're only about that big, you know, not waiting for you to get a full leaf, and take that, like Marty, what you were saying, with like making a cup out of it or a wrap, and it's tender enough. So, you know, the baby greens right now, you know, perfect with this kind of stuff. Yeah, if you want to grow to like maturity, you know, it's a little tougher. You're gonna have to get into regular hydroponics or traditional gardening. But for microgreens and baby greens, you know, that's you know, the way to go, you know, for some people like me.
I would say 2/3 of the food that I grow is microgreens, baby leaf, and baby herbs. And then I just have like I call my D crop in, which will be like at the moment I've got papayas. They're nearly ready to go. So I'll make my green papaya salad, things like that. And then I've got like perennials like the kangkong and different ones growing on certain herbs. So it's just the Vietnamese mint that I spoke about, you know, and things that you can consistently go from, because I don't have time to just be gardening all the time, you know. So you figure out what's good for you, good for your climate, what you can grow sort of quickly and then not use up too much time. And that's, you know, the Cracky's beautiful for that. And there's so many little ways that you can just do that for yourself. But it's all about finding the right crop for your location and the season, for sure.
Exactly. And with this system too, it's kind of neat that it's portable. Or like Pepe, you know, with all your microgreens and everything, you know, if you do have them outside and then there's a storm coming or something, you know, everything like moves. But the stuff that's, you know, if I have a garden out there and I'm out of town, you know, I went through Hurricane Irma, came through here, and it was Category 2 when it came by, and I like just dumped everything out, carried it inside, put a little bit of nutrients in just to hold them over to the past, and then put everything back outside. You know, it's pretty cool. But so there's a little pluses and minuses. Like I said, it's not the end all beat all, but it works for me when I'm off the road and, you know, I can mess around. You know, I might till up the whole yard and get a, you know, traditional garden. I do like gardening and that, but, you know, this works. And like you said, you know, it gets a lot of people started that don't have a garden or, you know, don't have a yard. And so, like I said, we're targeting a whole different, you know, niche of people that, you know, kind of like forgotten people. They're like, you know, don't worry about it, you know, and just try to like to help everyone.
Yeah, and sprouts as well. You know, we haven't really mentioned sprouts too much, but that's, you know, that's quite an easy one to do. And if you just don't have much space at all, fast, fresh food, a sprout, very nutritious. And there's lots of content on YouTube on it, how to do it. You know, these days we're blessed with that. All these people coming out and producing this awesome stuff on how to grow sprouts. So
yeah, well, that's the one thing too, is, you know, like, you know, I show a lot of videos like this. It's just, it's different. That there's other things that you said, like you said, but there's, you know, 2,000 people doing the same video.
Mm.
So, you know, this isn't the only, you know, way we grow in that, but, you know, it's a little bit different, and it's kind of a lot of noise out there. And, you know, some videos been around a while, and people are just used to seeing those and recommending those. So, you know, we're just trying to help people, show them a different way. But, you know, you guys have actually like evolved, and there's a lot of gardeners I was watching years ago when we started, and they still just do the same thing, but they can't make any more videos or don't have any more helpful content to put out, and they're just gone, and I haven't seen videos for like years, you know, whereas like, you know, Marty, you just keep evolving and doing something different. I like the little set you got set up in that too, the Marty Garden Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just keep plugging along as long as we. The reasons I think that myself, and I know that you guys do it as well, is to help other people. And if you're seeing that, you know, I'll get the times I'm like, oh man, I just think I might have a break again. And then someone rings you up and goes, oh, I'm so grateful about that. Or they send you a message and you just go, you pep up again. You go, oh, I'm helping someone, because it gets really lonely behind the camera here sometimes, you know, and you forget that you're reaching, like, you know, it can reach 400 or 500 people in a week or whatever, and you don't see those faces. You don't connect with those people. So it's really nice when we do hear from them and they say thanks, and then we get a little pep up as well and go, well, it's actually, you know, it's working. And, you know, they say, oh, we've created this great garden and now all of us are eating all this fresh food. Thank you so much. You're just going, thank you, you know, but really brings back something. And I'm sure both of you know that exact feeling, because we're singular behind the camera, but we're reaching thousands of people. But it's not a, I guess it's what I'm saying. It's not a whinging thing to come across. It's more like the main reason is to keep helping, and then just doing and evolving that over. And as you learn, you share your experience, and then other people can put that into place, and then share that with other people, and it makes the world more healthy and wealthier and more tasty, as Pepe would like to say.
It's the Darwinism of gardening, really, isn't it? To constantly evolving and getting healthy, getting tasty.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, you're right. That's what, like I said, I started a couple of years ago. Me asked Keely, you know, was to actually start selling boxes and things. And I didn't know how to market. I wasn't into social media. I wouldn't even install the stuff on my phone. And then I started looking into it as far as just getting the word out and marketing. And I told her, I said, well, I'm going to show people how to do it. And she said, well, how are you going to sell anything? I said, well, sooner or later, somebody doesn't want to make it and they'll say, where can I get one of those? So that was my plan, was just to show. And then like you said, you get messages from people all over the world, you know, that you don't think anything's going on for a while. And then, like I said, just about when you about had it, you know, you get a message that says, you know, they're taking what you had taught them back somewhere and they're growing stuff for a village or somewhere that's drought stricken and they can't grow. And you start getting these messages in, and I just found out that doing this on YouTube is actually reaching out. And like you said, you're spreading the message. You know, we all got to work and live and pay the bills. But, you know, at the end of the day, when we're 80 and sitting on our front porch swings and that and looking back, you know, we're going to look at how much money we amassed or that, you know, you helped somebody, you know, clear across the planet somewhere, you know. There's some things that, you know, are just priceless. And I would never have thought that something like the internet, YouTube would be, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you're creating a legacy every week when you bring out a new video. It's good content and people get some type of value from it. I always think about the value. Where's the value? You know, it's just the entertainment with a few tips, but the value. And sometimes the value is just people just going, thank you, you know, that's great for me. I really appreciate that. And then the other value is them getting the more value is getting the information so they can grow healthy food and take it and share it with their family and stuff. And also the mental health side of it, things, we don't bring that up enough. And I think that needs to be brought up a bit more. I did a video a couple of weeks ago on that. And that's so important, you know. That's real. I think that's like 70% of most people reason why they grow food. You know, really is it's just calming.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you think about it, it's food is one of your basic necessities of life. I mean, it's you need it, and a majority of people out there depend on somebody else for it. You know, whether they're fixing it for them or they're going to the grocery store. There's not a lot of people that you know, if something happened tomorrow, that they could sustain themselves. And just learning to do that, even if you're not growing all of your food, just that you can do a little bit like that kind of gives you a feeling of empowerment.
Yeah, and connection. I believe there's a lot of connection with you know, what you're doing, instead of looking at concrete walls all the time and mobile phones, you know.
Yeah. Or like we're living here in Florida, and our citrus that we go and buy in the store is from Mexico, when, you know, citrus trees grow in the wild out here. You know, everyone could have a citrus tree in their yard and we could all share fruit, but we're all going to the grocery store to buy it that came from thousands of miles away.
I'm noticing a huge change in the public's mentality in the market scene, that they want to go back to local. They're really moving away from supermarkets and the food miles, the freshness, all that's coming into play. But oh my God, you know, market scene picking up speed, and that's just not because of my product. We're all talking about it, you know, and what's going on with the world, and it's a good time to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Better service as well at the markets.
What's that, mate?
Instead of going to a computer and whacking a card in it, and the machine never smiles at you, you scan it or whatever and walk out. They're getting rid of all these people that are working behind the counters now with these machines. You go, you know, and you get no smile, you get no service. I'd rather go to someone like you and buy it and say thanks and give you the money instead of giving it some dumb machine that just doesn't even care, you know. Basically, getting off on a rampant here, but yeah. So I think
it's getting a little late, and we're all getting kind of spiritual and going off on tangents. But I just want to say real quick, because somebody's leaving a Zach Packman or something. Zach Packman's leaving. He says thank you, and he's having fun, and he loves what both of you are doing. And so some people are, yeah, they're saying, I think that you know Zach Packman.
Yeah, he's an Aussie and positive. He writes like it. Follows my channel.
All right, cool. Yep. So yeah, he's leaving. He said, thanks, appreciates it. And I'm sure there's other people have come and gone. It's just I can't like keep up with that. I'm having fun like yakking with you guys. Like I said, this is the first time I've got a chance to talk with you. But we'll get the hang of it, and I'll get, like I said, I'll get different software, and then we're going to be getting better internet, and we'll be able to put the chat up there. I was just excited to be able to get both of you on the feed at the same time.
Loving being here. Hey, what is the zucchini's favorite sport? What is a zucchini's favorite sport? Squash.
Okay, that was easy.
I just get confused every time I hear my friends overseas call them squash. And yeah, we call it zucchini.
There's actually a couple of people, I missed that in the chat, that there's a couple of people planting over here right now, planting squash, and they're asking about, you know, I guess like, well, one with it growing in hydroponics, but then they're asking about like the mildew and things. And there's a couple different problems that you run into with the different zucchinis and squash and eggplant and all that.
Yeah, I'm welcome to discuss that if that's going to help people for sure.
Let's see.
It's all about getting about airflow with squash and things like that. We get humidity here, and you guys get it there. I know Pepe gets it up north as well from me. And you know, it gets that that white sooty mold on there. I can't think of the exact name of it. What's it?
Powdery mildew or
powdery mildew. So people use like a 10-to-1 milk spray on it, but sometimes it's one of those plants. If it gets really bad, you just got to accept defeat and throw it in the bin. You know, otherwise it gets worse. But it's all about the humidity on the leaf. So as much airflow as you can get around the plant. They grow really, really well in straw bale gardens. They just, for some reason, they spill over the side and they get a lot of airflow that way. So I find that's always worked best for me, or growing them up a vertical vine somehow so they're getting airflow right up. So whether it's in hydroponics or soil or straw bale.
Cool. That's what we're going to try is trellis them this year. Keep this scale used by teaspoon parts per meter. Okay. Yeah, everybody's just talking amongst themselves. Let's see. Yeah, CB's here. Y'all know CB, right?
Hey, CB. Yeah.
Yeah. He's been hanging out. I like he came to my last 2 streams, and that both him and Renee, they're real good people. Like seeing what he's got going on with his greenhouse. They're just getting set up now. All right. Yeah, like I said, I'll try to get a little better with these comments and all that. I wasn't too prepared today. I was just, like I said, I was ecstatic just to be able to turn this on and get, you know, it's easy to just go live stream and hit live, but to get other people on the channel too, YouTube's changing things up. So it's a little more difficult. I think they changed things last week or something. If you've got under like 1,000 subscribers, you couldn't live stream right from YouTube anymore. So it like messed up a lot of the newer people on that too.
That's a pity.
But there's always different things you got to be aware of.
Yeah. Well, we don't own YouTube. It's owned by Google. So, you know, it's up to them to put their things in place. And I just accept those changes. You know, now I don't worry about it anymore.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Platform we can put content on. That's cool.
All right. Well, I don't know if anybody else has got any quick questions. They can toss them in the chat right down at the bottom and I'll ask. But if not, if you guys you want to yak about anything else, or you got to go, or
I think about 10 to I'm going to head off. 5 to 10 minutes I've got, and then yeah, I've got to go and shoot. I've got a call for another video that we've got to shoot this afternoon, but it hasn't been arranged yet.
My concern is my phone is plugged into my computer. I'm using my phone to stream this, but it's draining faster than it's charging.
Battery.
I've got like 6% left on my phone, so it's gonna. That's odd. I've never seen that.
Just for quite a while, so I'll probably finish up soon anyway. But if people are watching it, I guess keep an eye out on Mike's feed for any more updates when we get together again.
Yeah, somebody just asked, George, any tips on growing cantaloupe? I can't never grow them any bigger than a softball.
It's the Aussie word for a cantaloupe. It's a rock melon, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
it.
orange.
Yeah, rock melon. That's it.
Okay.
Similar to squash. They're just like a squash. Yeah. You got to get the good airflow to them as well. Straw bale garden's really good for them too. Difficult, I would say.
They don't mind some water at the start, and then I found them get sweeter if you don't water them so much at the end. It's like a stress thing, but they become really sweet. But yeah, get the water in at the start. But like Marty's saying, with mildew and powdery mildew, just keep the ventilation around them. I grow them along the ground here through the summer with some honeydew and watermelon. Yeah.
That's your phone going, is it, Pepe?
Yeah. Restaurant. Yeah. I need a kilo of sunflower in 10 minutes.
All right. All right, cool. Anybody got any more questions? Let's see. Paint them black. Cool. So Marty, you said you're going to start doing some live streaming. I saw you. I jumped on yours. Was it Sunday or Saturday?
Yeah. Thanks, mate.
Yeah. Like I said, if you do that, anytime we'll get together. I'm sure all of these guys. I'll try to get CB and maybe Brad or Travis. Some of these other guys, they might want to get on and chat and have some other things because we all grow. We all do a lot of different things. Some people do a whole lot of indoor and they know more about lights and things like that. And some of us, do things quite different.
Yeah, happy to come back. I guess I need to learn from you as well, Mike, how we're doing this because I haven't done inviting anyone in. So I might
why don't we one day we'll do just like we did a Google Hangout here where I just shoot you the link. But it won't be live on YouTube. It's just like doing a video chat with all of us. And, we can just kind of go over how to do. And like I said, I'm still learning too. I've got other things to set up that I know there's better ways to do it, but I'm waiting for the better internet to come along.
Yep.
If you tax your system or whatever, it's just the first week I did it, by the end of it, it just crashed.
Okay.
So you come to an abrupt ending. But yeah, we'll do that. We'll just get together in a Google Hangouts. Check out StreamYards too. That was, if you looked at that, it looked like it was a real easy one to set up, and then you just send a link and people just accept and they can be on with you. But I think it's like 2 or 3 at a time.
Okay.
Let me see one more. Somebody asked if you have white buckets, should I try to cover them with plastic to keep the algae down? You guys, y'all doing, Marty, you still doing a whole lot of hydroponics or not much?
Not
you have
just
algae
and a couple of little plants and herbs on my windowsill. But you'd probably know more than that for most. It's all about the light to do a nutrient.
Yep, just like your plant needs food and light, the algae is the same thing. And I just try to keep it as dark as possible. That's what, like, these downspouts are really thick. And they don't let the light in, like the smaller, cheaper ones are thin. Or the milk jugs you get, they're thin. You're going to get a little bit of algae. But if you're doing it really quick and you're growing just microgreens and baby greens, you don't have to worry about it too much and you harvest and start over. But if you're trying to grow something, to maturity, then it becomes a problem. And that's why I do, like, my system is where you turn over things really fast. And that's why you don't have a big problem with pests, because you're changing things over. You grow, you harvest, you start another one. They get confused, and it's for me, being on the go is just an easier way to go. And if you get too much algae buildup, is when it's sitting out there too long in the heat, and you've got nutrients in there, and you're letting light in. You got to cut down on one of those factors or all of them, just to not have that happen. And I've got these guys that have been sitting out there for like 6 months, and when I go to clean them out, there's not a bit of algae in it. And let's see. Yeah, you could wrap the buckets, each water. Okay, I think that's about it on the questions. How you guys doing? You got any last minute little things to talk about, or y'all about ready to hit the road?
My phone is, that's for sure. Damn it.
Yeah.
I'm close to heading off, mate. I got my daughter home from. We got Easter holidays here, so we're going to organise a few things to get going. But I just want to thank you for having me on.
Oh, no.
To catch up with Pepe as well, live like that, and yourself and everyone that's been watching. Yeah, thanks. I really do appreciate it.
No problem. And Karen, tell her, hey, we like seeing your little girl in your videos and that, and her with her bugs and praying mantis. And
her praying mantis just passed away, unfortunately. So we've got to wait for the next one. Yeah.
Cool. Well, appreciate you stopping in, Marty and Pepe. You got anything else to say, or?
Mike, thank you so much for all the shout outs and everything you've done for my channel, and Marty as well. Just love it and love the community, and thanks for this opportunity.
No problem. You bring value. So like I said, we don't mind. It's not, not so much, shout outs. Just, I mean, these people are looking for ways to do things, and you're there, you're willing to share. And I mean, what you're doing is just incredible. So, just keep doing what you're doing. And like I said, all these people in the community, I'm just blown away sometimes.
Yeah, no, I agree. Such an awesome group. I'm glad we've all met. Thank you.
Yeah,
cool. All right. So hopefully it's just the beginning. Hope you guys all appreciate everybody showing up in that. See who else we can have on. Any of you guys want to jump on, just DM me and check out Marty and Pepe. Both their channels are down in the description. And from there, you can find their Instagram links and that too. And make sure you're following them if they're not. And the Garage Greenhouse just showed up, or unless you've been in here a while and I didn't see it.
Hey, Travis.
Garage Greenhouse. Legend.
Yeah. That always happens just about time I'm about shut down and people like file in here. But yeah, I want to thank everybody, and y'all say goodnight to everyone in there. And Keely, thanks. And all the guys who were mods that were helping Keely out, keep up with the comments and answering questions over there. Appreciate that too. So that's something else too, Marty, when you get to live streaming and get a couple people in, if you can get someone so you don't have to constantly watch the comments. You can get some of these guys over there that, that know a little bit about what you're doing too, or gardening, and they'll help do crowd control for you.
Security.
We only have like 5 or 10 at the moment, so it's not too many on the live show. I only do them sporadically. I haven't I have never announced on a live show yet. It's like just bang, I'm doing it, and then whoever comes up. But we're looking at maybe doing Saturday mornings here in Australia, 9:45. But I'm not definite on that yet.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go surfing. That's a problem.
Cool. Yeah. Well, if people get used to seeing you, then they'll start filing in about that time.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody in the chat just saying they love you all. They love both you guys. They're following you. Keep up the good work. Let's see. Somebody was just talking about food grade, and I'll talk to them later. Y'all can go back later. I'll have this posted. You can look in the comments if you like. But yeah, y'all check out them if you like. And I'm going to go ahead and, well, we're going to say goodnight over here, but I know you all just getting your day started on that end.
See you guys.
Yeah,
all right.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
No problem. All right. Good night. Good night, everybody in there.
You.